Thanks for being here, and welcome to Eagle.
Thank you, Terry. You know, I got enlightened when Terry called me. He gave me the impression that he owned a golf course, and I'm glad the Kesslers are involved. You know, I watched Chris, and what a tremendous job he has done. And then I looked at Lynn and thought, you know, she could probably do a lot better. Let me give you a few stories and then maybe relate them to the day we're having. I always have to tell a Michigan joke, but the Michigan grad dies and he's trying to get into heaven, and St. Peter says, you're going to have to answer 3 questions. So he says, what are the 2 days of the week that begin with T? And the Michigan grad thinks and thinks, and he says, I got it. Today and tomorrow. That guy, well, I'll accept that. All right, how many seconds in a year? He thinks, 12. 12, yeah, there's January 2nd, February 2nd, March 2nd. He says, well, I'll accept that. And then he said, what were the first words that Eve said to Adam in the Garden of Eden? And he scratches his head and he says, boy, that's a hard one. The gates open up, he said, Duck goes into the bar and says to the bartender, you got any grapes? The bartender said, this is a bar, not a fruit stand. Get out of here. Duck comes in the next day and says to the bartender, you got any grapes? The bartender said, I told you yesterday, I'll tell you again, we're never going to have any grapes. If you come in here again and ask for grapes, I'm going to nail your duck feet to the floor. Get out of here. The duck leaves. Comes in the next day, says to the bartender, you got any nails? The bartender says, no, we don't have any nails. You got any grapes? Guy goes to the dentist. And he tells the dentist, I can't stand pain. Dentist says, no problem, we'll just give you a shot of Nova. Oh, wait a minute, he says, I can't stand needles. He says, well, we'll give you gas. He says, I'm allergic to gas. So he leaves, comes back with 2 great big pills. He says, what are those? Those are pain pills. He says, I can't take pills that big. So he leaves, comes back with a little tiny pill. He says, what's that? That's Viagra. He said, will that dull the pain? No, but it'll give you something to hold on to. Three guys going to a bar. One orders a craft beer, one orders a straight whiskey, another guy has a Tom Collins. And bartender brings the drinks, he says, that'll be 30 cents. 30 cents? Yeah, how come? He said, well, I won the lottery a year ago. I always wanted to own a bar. And I was going to give away drinks free until I found out it was against the law. So I charged 10 cents for every drink that you get, regardless of what it is. The guy says, boy, that's amazing. Hey, isn't that Ron Mason and Rick Conley and their hockey friends down at the end of the bar? Yeah, it is. He says, well, how come they don't have any drinks? He says, oh, they're waiting for happy hour when drinks are half price. Okay, now I'm going to try to relate those stories. Like the Michigan guy, if you notice, the course is a hard one. If you're like the duck and you're persistent, and like the guy that goes to the dentist and just rip it and rip it, hey, we'll have a great time this afternoon. Now, the 30 cents refers to the green fees. They're higher than any other place in this area. I have been to signature courses. I have toured this course. Believe me, if they were twice as much as they are, you'd be getting a bargain. So spread the word that, hey, it's worth every penny and more. Now, the clubhouse. Guy gets interested in Zen. So he goes to New York and enters a class, becomes a Zen master, and opens an office. Nobody comes. He's going broke. So in desperation, he opens a hot dog stand, and suddenly he's making a killing. Because he calls it the Zen Master Hot Dog Stand. He charges $3 for a hot dog. Everyone that comes gives him a $5 bill for one hot dog, usually a $10 bill if they want 2 hot dogs. He puts the money in his pocket. And the guy says, how about my change? And he says, Zen brother, change is good. Thank you for your contribution. That's a joke. The guy is sitting sprawled across 3 seats in a theater. Usher comes down and says, sir, you'll have to get in 1 seat. You can't use 3 seats. He just says, ah. Calls the manager. The manager comes down and says, if you don't sit in 1 seat, we're going to have to call the police and have you taken out of here. The guy just says, ah. So they call the police. The police come down and said, sir, we're going to have to take you out of here, take you down to the station. And says, by the way, where are you from? And the guy says, the balcony. That 2 things. The Zen master joke, or whatever it was, is supposed to signify that, hey, this is a big change. I don't know how many saw the old clubhouse and so on, but a tremendous change. And if you think some contributions didn't go in here, why, check the Kessler bank statement. This is unbelievable. I tell the balcony story just about every speech I give because I think it's very important that we remember where we come from, where we are now, who helped us get there. Sometimes a thank you or I love you is in order, but the thing that I think is important here is you remember that you're from Michigan, you're from the Lansing area, and now these 2 things, the golf course and the clubhouse, are 2 things to be very proud that you're from here. Thank you.